if you had one piece of it, like free legal advice that you could offer everybody, like that everyone should know, what do you reckon that like big legal advice would be?
Don't talk to cops. Always get a prenup.
Always get a prenup.
Always get a prenup. And never talk to cops.
Welcome to That Was Bad. 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 My name's Oscar Robertson and I'm your host. This week we have Sean COLLIER. Sean COLLIER is a comedian from New Zealand and he's very, very funny, and he just won New Zealand Comedy Festival's Best Newcomer. I've got a lot of things coming up. Remember, I've got my July 11 show at the Knox Community Arts Centre. That's nearly selling out. And I've also just released tickets for my Comedy Republic Replay Festival on July 4th. So you should come and see those at the Motley Brow House. Anyway, this is my chat with Sean COLLIER. Honestly, how much money are you making from this corporate?
Oh, I think like $400 or something. I don't know what like the going rate is for.
$400 is not it.
No.
And Sal and I did a bar mitzvah a couple of weeks ago.
You better be well paid for that.
$300, $150 each.
Really? How long did you do?
Like 4 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was fucking awful pay.
That's just
but it was,
reprehensible.
But we had to. Like, we had to do it.
Did you like know the people or something?
No. We came through Crowd Pleaser.
For $300. Who of you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cooked.
So, you know, I like doing that. And then I host a Battle of the Bands on Wednesday.
Oh, really? So you're doing an actual...
Well, it's fun. Not great money. Like, I'm not pushing for the money. People don't...
You don't make money until you make money.
Yeah.
You know, like it's... You couldn't live off it and then all of a sudden you make too much. That's what everyone says.
No,
well, not too much, but, you know.
Well, yeah, then it's like you get paid well to back pay all of the work you did now.
Yeah.
How did you get this gig?
Someone posted on like the comedians page ages ago, like months ago, and I messaged them, and then they got back to me like 6 months later, which is just
wow. Yeah. So what are you doing?
Oh, they just were like, do 20 minutes at this like corporate lunch in like the afternoon, and I was like, well, that's gonna be a bomb. Like, I feel like daylight comedy.
I mean, yeah, but like you'll get better at it. You'll learn exactly like how your material can be transferred.
It's just like, 20 minutes for like $300-400. It's like,
sure. Is it far away or is it close?
I think it's in Melbourne.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's all like character building.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a part of it. Like, I don't know. I would want to do like college shows.
Yeah.
I'd love to do college shows.
What, in Australia?
Yeah. America. Going around to like colleges and just like...
I feel like any gig in America would be better than like a good gig in Australia.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Obviously that's an exaggeration, but like,
Yeah, I think like...
all the Americans say like, oh, the college gigs are so bad, but it's like they're used to like proper comedy crowds. Like that, if you put your average American punter at like the best gig in New Zealand, they'd be like, this is horrific.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of my best audience members have been Americans.
Yeah.
They're just like, kind of like, they're up for it.
Oh my God.
Oh, they know what we're saying. They want to be there and they want to have a good time. I think corporate comedy, you'll probably find that your audience will be like, first off, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Second, they'll be like,
I'm offended.
Well, what are you're not going to do offensive material, I'm sure.
The guy's going to call me and like run me through like the rules. And I think I'll probably have to turn down the gig after that.
Yeah, I mean, your job will probably be clean. You'll need to be clean.
Yeah, I really struggle with that, Like, I've had a few gigs where they're like, you got to sort of, not... Because I don't think my stuff's too offensive, but, like, the problem is all of it is edgy. Like, I literally don't... The perspective I adopt when I write comedy is just inherently, like, boundary pushing. Like, I don't really have any material that's not doing that in some form or another. So it's, I just can't do certain rooms.
That's very funny. But I don't think that's like a good enough reason to not write clean. I reckon you can do it.
You reckon?
100%.
What do you mean? Like,
I think writing dirty is easier because our brains naturally go to whatever the smut is that you're thinking.
Well, it's not all like poo jokes.
No, but it's every joke can be cleaned up. You just have to work a tiny little bit harder to clean it up. And it's like maybe only an extra 5 minutes work.
I never do 5 minutes worth of writing.
Crazy.
What's your process? Do you like actually sit down and
Yeah,
like,
100%.
but you like block out time in your calendar and you're
No,
like,
I'm not like, it's not work.
you're not a psycho.
Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like morning writing and like, and then just write. Jerry Seinfeld does that.
Ernest Hemingway used to do that.
You just write books.
1,500 words a day every day till the book was finished.
Awful. And I
Yeah.
mean, maybe there's something to go.
Works.
It works for him. I mean, for me, my goal is to just get better at joke writing. That's my aim. So
You write every day?
No, I try to, but I don't always. I'll usually write like a premise. I'll come up with a premise because that's my funny bones. I'll be able to identify something that's funny. Be like, I enjoy the fact that I'm thinking of this. And I'll always think of it. And I'm like, why do I find this funny? And then I'll put that in my notebook. I use Notion. And then from there,
Let's see.
from there, I'll go, what's the premise? Can I get a joke inside the premise?
But there's so many. It's so easy to have a great premise that's like just impossible to get a good bit out of.
Yeah, and I think it's more important. Then you just take that and then you put it away until you're thinking about it in the shower. But the main thing is for me, and it's going to be different for everyone, but the main thing for me is I'm writing and I'm putting punchlines where there should be fucking jokes. And I'm also, the hard thing for me, and the reason why I probably need to write more than you would need to write, because your brain normally will go straight away down an alleyway. But for me, I fucking go, I'll start here about like my cow, my girlfriend thinking that cows need to talk. And then I'll end up on a boat with a cow doing cocaine.
Yeah.
And the audience is like, whoa, how did you get here?
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's such a like, almost like opposite to what I sometimes start with a punchline because
okay.
I like the phrase. Like I'll try to find an example. Like I just write shit all day in these notes. So it's like, I reckon America should try fix the Middle East. You know, like just like a random stupid.
Yeah, we can cut that.
No, but you know, like yeah. I've been thinking about my sperm count.
Okay, so
Like,
if you're going like, I've been thinking about my sperm count, like that's like a fine premise. But like,
no, it's not.
No, but like that's a start.
like a dumb
but that's not
sentence.
even a premise yet. They're just ideas, right?
It's just like I don't know. It's more like a phrase to start a tangent.
Right.
You know. It's
So
just
you
like,
want to, if like how I would think about it, like you need to be talking about sperm for then that to be the tangent. Yeah, I've been thinking about my sperm count.
Was that an attempt at a Kiwi accent?
This is a bit of, I just go straight to it. I could go to the zoo less. It's my favorite joke of yours, man.
It's the cleanest one I've got.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, you keep doing it. Give me another one that you've actually got like a premise for.
Like I'm going through these and like the vast majority of stuff I write is like can never see the light of day. You know.
I got a few jokes that I know for a fact that I can never take it out to anywhere.
I was thinking about there's a premise I thought of the other day that I probably won't ever flesh out. But like
Sure.
you know how like Australia they do a welcome to country as a sort of like oh no, like we did all this horrible shit to Aboriginals.
Sure.
Thinking like, do you reckon like Israel will be doing that in like 100 years? You know?
Yeah, I mean, like, this is like there's a funny premise.
Yeah,
Just trying to think of like how you'd make it into a joke.
There's no way to make it into a good joke. But
Like,
that's the majority of shit I write.
but like, I'll cut this. Obviously, there's a joke that I think is funny, that I can't do, and I think it's like something that I could give to someone, or if there was a dark show that I knew it was super safe.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily something I believe, but it's like
That's undeniably funny and
my girlfriend
true.
hates it.
Oh yeah, well it's a very hard sell.
It's a hard sell, but it is a funny. Like that's like my brain will go to these kind of jokes, but they're not the jokes that I do on stage. They're the jokes that I say to my friends on Discord.
So you work out the whole set like before you try it on stage, basically.
I'll try to because I don't have enough. Like maybe if I was better and doing more, then I would be able to. Then I would be able to spend more time on the the stage performing and working it out. I don't have that time luxury.
Yeah,
So I have
yeah.
to do the work off stage in order to have that time on stage mean something.
Yeah.
That's
no.
why I'm bombing on stage more.
Wha-
'Cause I'm like-
yeah, that's why.
It's
yeah.
I'm bombing because I might be overcooking it. But I think
There is a risk of that, but there's also, I think it's better to be over prepared than under prepared. I think the mistake most people make is under preparing,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing like a shitty gig. you
yeah.
know. Ironically, I think the shitty gigs you need to prepare for the most, because that's where you have the most room for like getting new stuff
100%.
fleshed out.
People don't necessarily like doing bad gigs, but I think like whenever I do a good gig, I'm not doing new material.
No,
So
no,
like
exactly.
it's like this
You do the same 5 minutes for a
and I'm not even
journey.
getting paid at these good gigs.
Mm.
Or if I'm getting paid, it's like $40, $50. It's like
Yeah.
nothing.
gas money.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So I don't do, I try to do as much as I can, and I try and work on and being better every single time, and just working on one little thing. For me, it was like I was talking too quickly recently, just
Yeah.
for so long, and then sent a video off to a comedian, and she's like, "Where would they laugh? Where would they laugh?" And that's just like hearing that, and then I'm like, okay. So then I focus on slowing down, just one small thing at a time, trying to be better.
Mm.
That's why we do it. But not everyone can be best newcomer. We
No, they can't.
no.
They can't.
So you got nominated and won best newcomer.
yeah,
That's very exciting.
yeah.
Have you noticed that attribute to anything?
It's a funny like, I used to joke like I'm a pretty big deal in New Zealand, like, when I was like doing gigs overseas and shit, because it's
Yeah.
like a crack up, like, but I don't know if it'll be as funny if I actually
No, you
became,
cannot be
Yeah.
have an award in New Zealand and then say I'm pretty big in New Zealand.
like
That's-
ironically.
no,
like-
it's no longer ironic. You're bigger in New Zealand because of it.
Ah,
Did you do New Zealand Gala?
no,
Okay.
no, I'm not that big.
Okay.
No, I don't know. It's it's an interesting one. I mean, it's not changed much,
Have you been able to get better gigs in Melbourne?
A little bit maybe, but not. Yeah, mate. Yeah. I mean, it's only been like a few weeks, but
What have you done?
yeah, I've noticed a slight change,
Yeah.
which is surprising.
You're,
like-
yeah.
I feel like there was momentum anyway.
You've always had momentum. You've always been writing. You are a funny person. I think it always comes down to funny bones. You are funny bones.
Do you reckon it does always come down? I think because I've noticed like in the NZ scene,
Sure.
there's way less sort of like politics and clicking and stuff because there's just not enough people. Like it's such a small scene that everyone sort of has to be friends on some level or another. There's obviously like every now and then you have like a little bit of drama or whatever, but for the most part, all the comedians in New Zealand are sort of under the, they're all like, we're in the same boat together and this boat sucks.
Yeah, this boat's headed to Australia.
But yeah. This boat's moving to Australia for high wages. But like in Australia, like especially in Melbourne, like a lot of people move to Melbourne from places like New Zealand to pursue comedy. So there's like a way bigger scene, and because of that, you have all this shit that I wasn't used to or expecting, like cliques and drama, and like people be like, oh, if you do this room, you can't do that room, and like don't talk to that person if you want to be in the good books of this person, all this shit. It's like,
yeah, it's too messy. It's high school.
yeah, it is, and it's, I don't know, it's weird because Melbourne still has that thing where it's like people in the UK and America and shit look at it like largely like, if you go to New York and you're like, I'm big in Melbourne, people like laugh you out of the room.
Yeah.
It still should have that thing that we have in NZ, but for some reason it's like,
I mean, I think it's just about being funny, man. Like I think like I tried to put all of that stuff out and just go, I want to be funny. And just making those people in that room have a good time. Fuck get rid of all of the feeling of making the room runner happy or like your friends and like not talking to those people. None of that really matters because at the end of the day, if you're funnier than you were last week, you're moving.
Yeah.
In the right way. Have you been you've been getting like a lot of followers on Instagram recently.
Yeah, I had like one thing go viral.
Right.
I'd say that was like the majority of it.
What was it? Like a stand-up clip?
Yeah, it was a stand-up clip.
That's what you want.
Yeah, that's what all the comedians say. Because like a lot of comics that have got followings got them from like skits and shit.
Sure.
And like obviously that's less optimal if you want to like sell tickets. But
Yeah.
I was looking at the stats and like all the people that followed me are like middle-aged like alcoholic Americans from like Wyoming and shit. So
Oh, great.
it's not, and they're like 95%
Yeah.
dudes. So you know,
Yeah. What was the
it's-
joke that you got?
It was about like hating being sober
Right.
and being like, you know, it was a long monologue about like, you know,
We'll put it up.
I'm at a weird point in my life, man. I've been experimenting with new things since I moved here. Like, recently, I tried extended sobriety. I don't know if any of you guys done that, but it's fucking horrible, man. Just getting assaulted by clear-headed thoughts. Because I reckon, like, one of the most underrated things about drinking is actually hangovers, you know? Because you always have a really good reason to feel like shit. You'll be going to the office on a Tuesday and you know you hate your life and you're miserable and then you're like, oh, that's right, I had 35 beers on the weekend. It's not existential. But once you've been sober 8-9 weeks, you start going like, oh, turns out I have depression. Like, is this a 9-week hangover or am I just a reluctantly sentient mammal in a decaying flesh vehicle in a relentless cycle of aimless consumerism, painfully conscious of the fact that all pleasure is inherently fleeting and everything I love and cherish is doomed for a rapidly impending perpetual oblivion? So yeah, I'm back drinking.
so that was out of a like 10-minute set I did,
Mm-hmm.
and like that joke got the smallest laugh in the whole set,
Mm.
and I only added it in as like an afterthought because I liked it, but I was like, that's probably going to be like a part where it drops off,
Mm.
and so it was so weird to me that was what ended up going viral of all the shit that I posted. It's
People like different things.
yeah, you just
online.
never know.
You never
like
know.
you're never the right person to judge what is good. Like,
No.
I've had
You're too
I've-
close to it for sure.
Yeah.
So you've always been, I guess you've been doing comedy now for 9 years. You've been in the scene for a long time. You've been working for a long time. Was comedy always your choice? Was that always what you wanted to do?
Like the first gig I did I was 18.
Okay.
And I'd probably decided I was going to try it when I was like 15.
Right.
So, but I've always been like, you know, I was always fine with public speaking when I
Mhm.
was in school. Like it was like one of those things I didn't really get nervous for school speeches and shit. I sort of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, very like neurodivergent in that regard.
Yeah.
Like that's a very uncommon thing.
Sure.
To actually like.
Were you popular in
enjoy
school?
public speaking? Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty. Yeah. I'm not your normal comedian. Like, you know, I don't need this. Like,
You want it. So you want it more than other people though.
yeah, I was like, I enjoy, to me, it's like a very, the process of like articulating something that would usually be like just a thought that you keep to yourself
Mm.
and then having other people laugh at it is like extremely like validating to my own sanity, you know,
Mm.
to be like, you know, thinking something and if you don't properly articulate those thoughts, like a lot of the time they can like become toxic
Yes.
in your head, you know. It's like for me it's almost like it's like a mental health sort of thing to be like, you know, this is what I've been thinking about, this is quite fucked up, and other people are like, same, you know.
Yeah. So you definitely are like playing to trying to make them, the audience, like relate to your brain's chemistry. Is that what your style of comedy would be? Is that what you?
I don't know if it's that necessarily. It's more just like I do it for myself. Like
do
to
that.
me, it's like if I think something's funny, and sometimes like there'll be like I have bits that I just won't give up on.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I think a premise is funny,
Mm-hmm.
like I have this premise I've wanted to do for a couple years, and I've tried it in different ways about like work shootings, about being like, why is there so many school shootings and no one ever shoots up the workplace?
Yeah. Right.
You know, and it's like I tried it so many times in front of crowds, and like every time that it would just be like, nah, too dark. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've just started doing it in a way that's sort of working.
How is it working now?
Oh, like I'm not gonna like it's not finished. It's like still in the oven, you know. But like it's getting there. But like that's the enjoyment of the process comes from that sort of thing to me, to like get a really sort of out there
Thought.
idea that people wouldn't be on board with. Like my favorite laughs are reluctant laughs from
Yeah.
people that don't want to. You know, like have you heard that algorithm joke I've been doing?
No.
Oh, it's like
Oh, maybe. Yeah, like your algorithm will last. Is that right?
talking. It's like I'm not gonna do the joke, but it's like the premise is like, you know, like my algorithm's trying to like radicalize me. Like I keep getting these like crazy like things on my news feed, and then like I talk about like one of the videos, but it's like the joke is not. I wouldn't say it's misogynistic, but it plays with misogynistic themes,
Sure.
and it talks about like internet misogyny. And like when I do it, I've noticed like women in the crowd, especially, they laugh like the hardest a lot of the time, but you can tell that they don't really. It's like reluctant, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's like those are the most satisfying for me when you're getting the people that wouldn't ordinarily be on board with it.
for
But,
sure.
yeah, and like those jokes, you could so easily like one word often, or like you know, phrasing something slightly differently could turn off like 40% of the crowd.
100%. You can
You
just say the word, like, you can just say like cancer and it's gone.
Yeah,
You know, when I was telling you about the joke that I had about like the police, you know, falling for the police trick.
yeah, yeah.
My original thought was, I definitely killed that little girl.
Yeah,
And then Sal was like, no, don't. And again, it's a very clear point. Like just saying killing that little girl versus to killing that man.
yeah.
It's like killing that little girl will bomb, killing that man won't.
Mm.
And it's being clear on your ideas and going like, how can you make sure that what is worth it?
Yeah.
What's the worth punch?
The line between like shock value but still keeping the crowd on board with you.
Yeah, 100%.
And like those are my favorite sets, is when like the whole time people are like, I don't know. I really enjoy saying stuff, because especially like being like a sort of masculine white dude, you get like, whenever I'm talking, there'll be people in the crowd that are sort of like waiting for me to say something that makes them hate me.
Sure.
Like, and you could like, you know, and so like, it's really fun for me to just walk the edge of them, like you can tell they're thinking like the next sentence is gonna like be offensive, you know?
Yeah.
But never quite taking them there.
No. I would never have thought your stand-up comedy is ever offensive.
No.
And I'm pretty like,
I don't.
I don't like booking people that are offensive necessarily.
No. Well, there's no utility in being offensive for the sake of it.
Yeah.
You know, but you can build a lot of tension by making the crowd think you're about to say something like bigoted, for example, and then you get a massive like laugh pop.
So how do you find this? Like, if you're not writing like as a normal person would write, how are you finding this line to skirt? Like, how do you do that?
It's pretty sort of like I think of premises, and then I just will talk to myself until I find a way to phrase it that I more or less like, and then I'll try it on stage, and you work out the timing on stage and like maybe change a few words around or think of like a couple tags, and then you just
Amazing.
you just keep putting it through the washing machine until it comes out clean, you know?
RK Threads. That's right, my company. You guys know this. I have a company. I do embroidery. You can get yourself a jumper with something like this embroidered directly on it. If you use the code THANKYOU10, you'll get 10% off your very first order. But right now I have 15% off for end of financial year, so that's irrelevant. But yeah, seriously, jump online. You can customize whatever you want on whatever you want. Anyway, back to the show. You're a lawyer. Is that you're allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Online, you keep that.
Yeah, I don't.
You
I
do the
don't-
lawyer
It's not a
show.
secret.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do the lawyer show.
Yeah.
So you're a lawyer from day to day, Monday to Friday.
yeah.
It is a work.
You can't be a non full-time lawyer unless you're like on maternity leave or something.
Sure.
Like
We
gotta
are
sell
doing
your
a podcast in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I'm bunking. Like
Okay.
you got to sell your soul though.
Okay.
Like there's no there's no part-time lawyers.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
a wise old lawyer once told me the only way to get a holiday is to quit. You know.
You love quitting. You want
I want to quit
you
law.
wanna
I want to
work
quit
and-
comedy.
You want to work until you can quit. That's your
I
dream.
want to bloody farm with goats in regional New Zealand where I can just fucking, you know,
hang out.
shoot a bow and arrow at rabbits.
You're a threatening man, but I do. So what do you reckon your worst experience is professionally?
What, as a lawyer or a
Or
comedian?
well, like I reckon it's more fun to know about a lawyer because, like, comedians, I was on stage and I bombed, bro.
Yeah.
What? And some people like that, like for sure. But what do you reckon, like the worst mistake you've made or been a part of?
Most of the legal work I've done has been pretty low stakes.
Sure.
The worst job I ever had was like the first one where it was just like the firm had basically like fired like 70% of the staff and then just hired graduates. And so
no one to ask. You're like, what
I
do we
rocked
do?
up and they're like, you're doing the work of like a 10-year experienced lawyer and we're going to pay you like 40 grand a year.
Yeah,
and
right.
it was just like, it was just ridiculous. But like,
Did that make you a better lawyer?
probably, but it also would have shortened my life, I'd say. Like,
Yeah.
But that's like, the New Zealand legal industry is like fucked like that. Like you have all these like small firms and big firms as well, where they pay you like not even enough to like survive and you just work like a dog, you know? Like moving over to Australia, like the labor laws are so much better. The work culture is like so much better.
Really? I didn't know
so
that
much
New
better.
Zealand had like bad work culture, like how many hours you have
I
to
wouldn't
do.
say it's bad by international standards,
Sure.
but compared to Aussie, it's noticeably worse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like I was worked way harder, and made obviously way less money. But also that there might be an element of just the fact that I was a graduate, and like when you're a graduate, people are sort of just like fuck you, you know? But yeah, being a lawyer is not an advisable profession.
No,
like,
a lot of people a lot of comedians are lawyers. Hey,
A lot of, yeah. I mean, it sort of makes sense, you know. It's like love of language, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like a
Control.
there's a lot of overlap, but no, it's I don't know many lawyers that enjoy their day-to-day life, you know. And you sort of just, the industry is like very much set up to, you know, they dangle the carrot just enough to keep you there. So it's like, you know, like in the big firms, you meet these like people that are like in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and they're making like these big salaries, but they just live at the desk.
Yeah.
And it's like they're so used to the money coming in that they can't leave, and it's like, not keen on that.
So you're still working as a full-time lawyer. Do you think you would ever leave it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean?
Just move on to. Would you move on to a different job, or would you only move on from being a lawyer if you're a comedian?
I thought very seriously about like working like a couple days a week as a labourer.
Okay.
And just to pay bills, and then just trying to like full ass comedy. But I didn't do it because I'm not confident I'll be able to discipline myself enough to make the extra spare time valuable. Like I feel like there's a pretty decent chance I would just wake up at 11 and like, you know, like just walk around the house, like having, you know, make like an hour making breakfast sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm so used to being like super busy with bullshit that like the small amount of spare time I do have, I have to utilize like really effectively.
Yeah, right.
Which like, yeah, I don't know. I've met a lot of people that have like quit their day job to do comedy, and they just spend all their time just walking around the house going insane, you know?
Yeah. I'm pretty much like a full-time comic at the moment because embroidery is pretty self-sufficient at the moment. And obviously like the filming, I'm doing a lot of filming stuff, but definitely like my girlfriend's like, what are you doing today? I'm like, I don't know, hanging out. She's like, she can't, it's like she's got an unemployed boyfriend.
You're definitely not unemployed. You're running like 2 businesses and doing comedy.
Yeah, but like I play a lot of Fortnite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love it.
Sick.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Dude, you should play. Do you want to play Fortnite?
Right, I'll be keen.
Do you have a computer?
No.
PlayStation?
Well, I've got a
PC?
computer,
Yeah,
but
you
I
don't
don't. Yeah. I haven't played games for years. I actually
Man.
tried a joke the other day. I thought this was a good premise.
Yeah.
It got a laugh, but you could tell some of the crowd was pretty like, what the fuck? About like, so you know Grand Theft Auto 6
Yes.
they're going to have like pride parades.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, the premise of the joke, I was just like, you know, I love gay people. But, you know, like,
I'm gonna shoot up.
like that's, you know, like,
I'm gonna
like
run him over.
I can't resist that temptation.
That's
you know?
so funny.
Like, I don't know. I think there's something there.
Yeah, I think that's like a funny because we're not like it's like in Red Dead
It's
Redemption
like, where do
2.
you draw the line for like, you know, being an ally? So I'm not going to not massacre a pride parade at GTA 6.
Like that is, if anything, I'm I'm treating them equally.
Yeah, exactly. Like it would be bigoted for me to not do it, because I'll kill everyone else.
Yeah, that's funny. I can see it not working.
Mm.
So you're right for that.
Yeah.
But this is like because it's like the thing where you're like in Red Dead Redemption 2, like the women that want the vote.
Yeah, I haven't played that game.
Yeah, and then you just like go.
You just fuck them up.
Yeah, you just beat the shit out of them. Sal's got a joke about it. He just goes, you don't even have to do it. You like just tell him shut up, and then you fuck off on your horse. Yeah. So have you? I don't know how we go from being a lawyer to you're like I'm massacring gay people on Grand Theft Auto. Your brain is quite an interesting.
No, I there's not much, like I don't do an interesting area of law.
So you don't.
I did commercial law in New Zealand, like doing like property development subdivisions and shit.
Yeah.
And then over here I'm doing like insurance litigation. So it's
If you had one piece of it like free legal advice that you could offer everybody, like that everyone should know, what do you reckon that like big legal advice would be?
Don't talk to cops. Always get a prenup.
Always get a prenup.
Always get a prenup. And never talk to cops.
Never talk to cops.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
Never.
right. Because that would like not even like when's the line to talk to cops? Like
Never.
right. So if they come and they say hello.
Oh, you can say hello.
Yeah. Right. So like I'm just like if they're arresting you or they're questioning you about something, just always know.
You can say a lot of stuff to police that's like fine, but I don't. I wouldn't trust most people I know to know.
Yeah.
Like it's just you ask for like a general rule.
No. Yeah. No. I agree.
Like that's general rule. Don't talk to cops.
Don't talk to cops. Get a prenup.
Yeah.
Nice. Protect what you own.
Should think of more of those.
Yeah.
That was just.
But you said that very quick. It's like
no, they're the two obvious
you said
ones.
that in the way that you've gone through a divorce.
No, they're the
and
two.
You
like,
should have had a prenup.
I think it's like those are the two that like I've known people in my life that have like broken those rules and just fucked themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
And so it's like
So they're the only two jobs you've had, comedian and lawyer?
No, I've had heaps of jobs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I worked at a meat factory, worked at a packing facility, delivered pizzas.
Man,
I worked at a 5-star hotel as a waiter.
you did?
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Oh man, can you imagine me doing customer service? Like,
no,
I'm
not
not
well.
exactly chipper.
Yeah. Does that mean you were calling everybody sir?
I was like, I had to wear a button up, like a bow tie.
Yeah.
And I would like carry like plates to like
room service.
Often.
What was the things that you would see in the rooms?
Oh, I didn't do much room service.
Okay.
But we would have like.
You'd hear stories, surely.
Oh, it was crazy. We used to steal from the hotel, Everyone, like, when it was crack up. So, because it was a terrible job, it was like, everyone was paid minimum wage.
Mhm.
There was no, like you would go to work sometimes and they would be like, all right, we're probably going to close at 9 p.m. And then you'd, like, rock up there and you'd, like, make plans after 9 p.m. And then they'd be like, oh, a flight's been cancelled. Everyone in the flight's got, like, free hotel voucher. So, like, all these like disgruntled like people that are supposed to be on a flight out of the city come into the restaurant at like 10:30 and they all want dinner straight away and they're all like real angry and shit and then you end up cleaning their dishes until like 2 a.m. Like it was like that sort of job.
Yeah, right.
And like when I started there, like after 2 days, like the guy training me was leaving and he's like, all right, like you seem all good, so I'm gonna let you in on like I'm gonna give you the lowdown. He like takes me down to the wine cellar and he's like, these bottles, they don't stock take them because they sell them by the glass. He's like, I steal about 3 a week. And I was like, you're a fucking legend. And then he's like, takes me up and he's like, all right, this cupboard, like, this is where they keep all the like bathrobes and shit. Don't stock take these either. Welcome to steal them. And he like just run me through like the whole hotel. He's like, you can steal that. Like, and it was fucking hilarious.
How much did you steal? Legally?
Yeah, I'm not going to say on camera.
We'll just beep it.
Yeah, like put it this way, like I didn't pay for piss for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was sick.
Man, I reckon if we were in high school together, I reckon you would have bullied me.
Nah, I wasn't a bully.
Were you?
I was I was part of the problem though.
Yeah. You definitely wouldn't have spoken up.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't defending the rights of the innocent.
No, famously. famously just want to fucking run him over in Grand Theft Auto 6.
that game's gonna be fire. I haven't played video games for many years, but I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, 100%.
Just for the pride parades, I'll
Yeah.
buy it. You'll be able to. I hope you can do fentanyl. Like, what if there's like a character arc on GTA 6 where you just fucking
character arc where you have to get clean from heroin.
Yeah.
And you have to go through rehab and it's just like you're getting cold shivers. Man, that would be great. Dude, well, thanks for coming in. Thanks for doubling up the podcast because the one camera wasn't recording.
Yeah, you got to.
It's been recording.
No, it's been fun.
You had a good time. I appreciate you coming out. Have you got anything that you're promoting?
No.
Yeah, this is the thing. I'm like having all of these like comedians at like low levels on. I'm like, what have you got to promote? They're like,
I'm up to fucks.
Whatever. Like, I don't know, man.
Oh, actually, no. I'm so useless. I'm going to Brisbane I don't know when this is going to release. I'm going to Brisbane on the 26th, and I'm doing a solo show for one night.
Where are you doing it?
At Good Chat.
Oh, amazing. I did Good Chat on Saturday.
Oh, true.
Yeah, it was fucking awful.
Oh, really?
No, it was fine. I'm not like it was awful. No, it was bad.
Yeah.
But they will be up for your show.
Right.
Like
Well,
your audience will.
Yeah, I got a bit like I've got it's just a solo show, just me. So I've got the
you'll
whole
have
room,
your
so
audience. And how's the tickets going?
I haven't looked, but probably terrible. So if you know anyone in fucking Brisbane,
yeah,
tell them to come along.
Yeah, that's really good. You're gonna get it filmed as well. It's a good place to film.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I might do.
Yeah, fly me up. No, well, thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate you driving down to do the podcast. And dude, we'll have you back at some stage.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you had a great time as much as I did. This is so much fun. You guys are my best friends. Make sure you get onto tickets.musicalcomedy.com.au to buy tickets to my theatre show in July 11. Also, jump into the show notes so you can get tickets to Sean's show at The Good Chat in Brisbane. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.